Welcome to our exploration of how regulations impact market efficiency. In today's world, markets don't operate in a vacuum. They're shaped by rules, guidelines, and oversight from various authorities. These regulations are designed to protect consumers, maintain fair competition, and ensure stability. But how do these rules affect the efficiency of markets? In this video, we'll break down the relationship between regulation and market performance, using real-world examples and clear explanations. Let's start by understanding what regulation means in the context of markets and why it's such a critical topic for businesses, consumers, and policymakers alike. Market efficiency refers to how well prices in a market reflect all available information. When markets are efficient, resources are allocated optimally and buyers and sellers can make informed decisions. But efficiency isn't just about speed, it's about accuracy and fairness too. In an efficient market, there are minimal barriers to entry and prices quickly adjust to new information. This concept is crucial for understanding how regulations can either support or hinder the smooth functioning of markets. Next, we'll look at the different types of regulations and their intended purposes. Regulations come in many forms, from financial oversight to environmental standards. Some are designed to protect consumers from fraud, while others aim to prevent monopolies or ensure product safety. For example, financial regulations require banks to maintain certain capital levels, while environmental rules limit pollution. Each type of regulation has a specific goal, but all share the common purpose of guiding market behavior. Understanding these categories helps us see how regulations can have both positive and negative effects on market efficiency. Markets are regulated to address failures that can arise when left unchecked. These failures include monopolies, information asymmetry, and negative externalities like pollution. Regulations help level the playing field, ensuring that no single player can dominate unfairly or exploit others. They also protect public interests, such as health and safety. By setting boundaries, regulations aim to create an environment where competition thrives and consumers are confident in their choices. Let's examine how these goals translate into real-world impacts. When well-designed, regulations can enhance market efficiency. For instance, rules that require transparency in financial reporting help investors make better decisions, leading to more accurate pricing. Antitrust laws prevent monopolies, encouraging competition and innovation. Safety standards ensure that products meet minimum requirements, reducing the risk of harm and building consumer trust. These positive effects show that regulations, when targeted and enforced properly, can actually make markets work better for everyone. However, not all regulations have positive outcomes. Overly strict or poorly designed rules can create barriers to entry, stifle innovation, and increase costs for businesses. These inefficiencies can lead to higher prices for consumers and reduced choices in the marketplace. For example, excessive paperwork or compliance requirements may discourage new companies from entering a market. It's important to strike a balance between necessary oversight and allowing markets to function freely. Let's look at financial markets as an example. Regulations like the Sarbanes-Oxley Act were introduced to increase transparency and accountability after major corporate scandals. These rules restored investor confidence and improved market efficiency by ensuring accurate information was available. However, some critics argue that compliance costs rose significantly, especially for smaller firms. This case highlights the trade-offs involved in regulating markets and the importance of finding the right balance. Environmental regulations, such as emission limits and pollution controls, aim to address negative externalities. By requiring companies to reduce harmful outputs, these rules protect public health and the environment. While compliance can be costly, the long-term benefits often outweigh the expenses. Cleaner air and water lead to healthier communities and more sustainable economic growth. This example shows how regulations can correct market failures and improve overall efficiency. One of the main reasons for regulation is to address information asymmetry, where one party has more or better information than another. For example, in financial markets, companies must disclose relevant data so investors can make informed choices. Without these rules, markets can become inefficient, with prices not reflecting true value. Regulations help level the playing field, ensuring transparency and fairness for all participants. Market failures occur when the free market doesn't allocate resources efficiently. Common examples include monopolies, public goods, and externalities. Regulations are often introduced to correct these failures, ensuring that markets operate more smoothly. For instance, antitrust laws break up monopolies while environmental rules address pollution. By intervening where markets fall short, regulations can help restore efficiency and protect the public interest. Finding the right balance between regulation and market freedom is a constant challenge. Too little oversight can lead to abuse and instability, while too much can stifle growth and innovation. Policymakers must weigh the costs and benefits of each rule, considering both short-term impacts and long-term goals. The most effective regulations are those that address real problems without creating unnecessary burdens. Markets are constantly evolving, driven by technology, consumer preferences, and global trends. Regulations must adapt to these changes to remain effective. For example, the rise of digital currencies and online platforms has created new challenges for regulators. Flexible, forward-thinking rules help ensure that markets stay efficient and competitive in a rapidly changing world. In today's interconnected world, markets often span multiple countries. This globalization creates new challenges for regulators, as rules must be coordinated across borders. International cooperation is essential to prevent regulatory gaps and ensure fair competition. For example, financial regulations are often harmonized to avoid loopholes that could be exploited by global firms. Effective cross-border regulation supports market efficiency on a global scale. Innovation is a key driver of market efficiency, but it can also outpace existing regulations. New technologies like fintech or ride-sharing apps often challenge traditional rules. Regulators must find ways to encourage innovation while managing risks. Sandboxes and pilot programs allow new ideas to be tested in a controlled environment, balancing progress with protection. This approach helps markets remain dynamic and efficient. Protecting consumers is a major goal of regulation. Rules around product safety, advertising, and financial disclosures ensure that buyers have the information they need and are not misled. These protections build trust in markets, encouraging participation and supporting efficiency. When consumers feel safe and informed, they're more likely to engage in economic activity, benefiting the entire system. Competition is essential for efficient markets. Regulations that prevent monopolies and promote fair competition help keep prices low and quality high. Antitrust laws, for example, break up companies that dominate markets and restrict anti-competitive practices. These policies ensure that consumers have choices and that businesses must constantly improve to stay ahead. Complying with regulations often comes with costs, including time, money, and resources. Businesses may need to hire legal experts, update systems, or change processes to meet new requirements. While these costs can be significant, they're often justified by the benefits of safer, more transparent markets. Still, it's important for regulators to consider the burden on businesses, especially smaller firms. Sometimes, regulations have unintended side effects. For example, strict labor laws may protect workers but also discourage hiring. Price controls can lead to shortages or black markets. Policymakers must monitor the effects of regulations and be willing to adjust them if they create new problems. Flexibility and ongoing evaluation are key to maintaining market efficiency. Regulatory capture occurs when regulatory agencies are influenced by the industries they oversee, leading to rules that benefit a few at the expense of the public. This undermines market efficiency and public trust. Preventing capture requires transparency, accountability, and strong oversight. Effective regulation must serve the broader interest, not just powerful stakeholders. In some cases, governments choose to reduce or eliminate regulations, a process known as deregulation. The goal is often to boost competition and lower costs. While deregulation can increase efficiency in some sectors, it can also lead to instability if not managed carefully. The financial crisis of 2008, for example, was partly attributed to insufficient oversight. The key is to find the right mix of freedom and control. Advances in technology are changing how markets operate and how regulations are enforced. Digital tools make it easier to monitor compliance and detect fraud. At the same time, new technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence present fresh challenges for regulators. Staying ahead of these trends is essential for maintaining efficient, fair markets. Behavioral economics shows that people don't always act rationally in markets. Regulations can help guide behavior, such as requiring clear labeling on food or default options for retirement savings. These nudges improve outcomes without restricting choice, supporting market efficiency by helping consumers make better decisions. Transparency is a cornerstone of efficient markets. Regulations that require disclosure of information such as financial statements or product ingredients build trust among participants. When everyone has access to the same data, markets function more smoothly and efficiently. Trust encourages investment and participation, fueling economic growth. Adaptive regulation means updating rules as markets and technologies change. This approach helps avoid outdated or irrelevant requirements, keeping markets efficient and competitive. Regular reviews and stakeholder input ensure that regulations remain effective and responsive to new challenges. Enforcement is critical for regulation to be effective. Without proper oversight and penalties, rules may be ignored. Regulatory agencies use audits, inspections, and fines to ensure compliance. Strong enforcement deters misconduct and supports market efficiency by maintaining a level playing field. Effective regulation often involves input from stakeholders, including businesses, consumers, and experts. Public consultations and feedback help ensure that rules are practical and address real-world issues. This collaborative approach leads to better outcomes and greater acceptance of regulatory measures. How do we know if regulations are improving market efficiency? Economists use various metrics such as price stability, competition levels, and consumer satisfaction. Regular evaluation helps identify what's working and what needs adjustment. Data-driven analysis ensures that regulations achieve their intended goals. Looking ahead, regulation will continue to play a vital role in shaping market efficiency. Emerging trends like digital currencies, artificial intelligence, and climate change will require new approaches. Policymakers must stay informed and proactive, ensuring that rules keep pace with innovation and global challenges. Sum up, regulations are essential for correcting market failures, protecting consumers, and promoting fair competition. While they can sometimes create inefficiencies, well-designed rules enhance market performance and trust. The challenge lies in finding the right balance and adapting to new developments. By understanding the impact of regulations, we can build more efficient and resilient markets. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the impact of regulations on market efficiency. As we've seen, the right mix of rules and freedom is crucial for healthy, dynamic markets. Ongoing evaluation, stakeholder involvement, and adaptability are key to ensuring that regulations serve the public good and support economic growth. Stay curious and keep exploring how policy shapes our world.